The film is called Marlee Matlin, Not Alone Anymore. Now, how much did you know about Marlee Matlin?
Very little. I mean, I know her breakout roles, and I know her awards, and I know some of her humanitarian efforts. But as far as like any of her personal, don't really know.
I knew I had seen her on various films and stuff and TV. She's on that very famous episode of Seinfeld about the lip reading, and then she won an Oscar for Children of a Lesser God. And I was really young when that happened, so I didn't have a lot of context. But she was the first deaf actor to win a Best Actor Oscar, and apparently this was a huge deal for not just the Academy, but for like the deaf community at large, and it changed everything for her. The other thing I did not know, among many things I did not know about Marlee Matlin, is that she was only 19 years old when she made that movie. And she accepted the Oscar, she was 20. The other thing that the movie revealed that I was not aware of, that she and her co-star, William Hurt, were they were in a relationship. And the other thing I did not know is that she had a drug and alcohol problem, and that her relationship with William Hurt was not great. Apparently, he was also an alcoholic and abusive. He was 35 and she was 19. I mean, he's passed away now, so you don't want to say anything bad. He's a wonderful actor, and I think he got sober as a result. And she wrote a book it details that stuff. The other thing that I thought was interesting that you find out about her life is how much of a spokesperson she became for the deaf community. Apparently, the reason we have closed captioning on television is Marlee Matlin. They came up with the technology, and she's like, we have to put this everywhere. Her favorite film was The Wizard of Oz. She didn't get to know what they were saying until the 50th anniversary of the film in like 1989. So it's just a very different perspective. The other thing that was kind of like right from the rip, like first frame of the film, the most interesting thing is the opening sequence is like BTS of the film, right? The director, whose name is Shoshana Stern, she is also deaf. So she's interviewing people, and some of them are deaf. A lot of the interviews are like sign language, and you see people mouthing, but you don't hear them, they're not speaking. And then some people, like when they interview Henry Winkler, who was apparently a very close friend of Marlee Matlin's, he's got like an earpiece, and there's an interpreter in his ear. So she's signing, and he's hearing the interpreter. I've shot many, many interviews. I've worked on a lot of doc projects. My first thought was like, how do you do this? And then how do you have an interesting movie if you can't hear the participants? So it's like subtitled in sign language, and sometimes it's just silent. And when she is interviewing Matlin, they're on a couch like this, and it's like they're two girlfriends talking. I think they were friends before. The interesting thing about it's a really intimate kind of film, but it's from this perspective. And like we did a doc about Ghostbusters. I've done other docs. I've profiled people and so forth. I could not make this movie because I did not have the insight of what it would be like to be in that position. Shoshana Stern, the director, is also an actress. She has done the play Children of a Lesser God, and apparently that is the rite of passage role. If you're a deaf actress, when you're a young adult, you play Children of a Lesser God. It's like they interviewed another actress, and she's like, oh yeah, I did that too. Like they just did. The reason the film is called Not Alone Anymore is because of the movie Coda. When Troy Kotsur won Best Actor, he became the second actor to win, second deaf actor. What I also did not know is that Marlee Matlin, who's also in that movie, is the reason they cast a deaf actor in that role, because she had the authority to be like, when she heard the movie was being made, she was like, I want first dibs on the script. And then she's like, I'm not doing this movie unless you get a deaf actor to play the dad. And they did, and he was wonderful, and they interview him in the film as well. And there's all kinds of great little quirky things like that where, you don't know how much a person affects the whole industry and the whole, like, the world of all these people who are like, yeah, I'm an actor now because of her. It was terrific. It was very moving. And the other fun part is like at the end, there's another BTS sequence, and they have to hold for room tone. And which, if you don't know, room tone is when everybody's silent on the set so that the sound people can get the room tone. And they're like, like you see people are like, why are they? It's like, it's for this, like it's It's just like, and then they're still signing while like, I wish I knew sign language just so I could sign during room tone.
Right.
We shoot, but it was great. It was really, and the energy. It wasn't like all gloom and doom. She had a lot of ups and downs because, for one thing, after she won the Oscar, she's a 20-year-old kid, and she got thrown into the spotlight, and now she's got to be like an advocate and an activist. She never asked for that. She's an actress. Like, apparently the deaf community got bent out of shape when the next year, how every year the actor who won the year before presents to the new actor winning, vice versa with the genders. So when she presented the award for Best Actor the following year, she signed everything until she said the names of the nominees and did not sign them. She just spoke them. And the deaf community was like, "You're a traitor," kind of thing. And I was like, like you can't win for losing in that situation. So it's really, really interesting to see what kind of career she's had, and the fact that people won't call someone with a disability unless it's written for them specifically. And it's like when I interviewed Hilary Bach at Newfest. She's like every character I play, this character just happens to be deaf. It's not like they wrote a deaf character. There's real insight, and it makes you think about the way it works, the way casting works, the way, Hollywood system works. And it's like, well, we need an actor who's, a name, but, this character is deaf. So do we get Ryan Gosling to play a deaf guy, or do we actually get a deaf actor? And it's like, look, there's not enough. It's like, there's plenty of good deaf actors, but this, I hope, gives some perspective to it. And, maybe the producers who went to Sundance will see it and go, oh, wait, yeah, maybe that role doesn't have to be a hearing, that kind of thing. So it's really interesting. It's like we've made progress, but how much have we really made progress?
Right. And that speaks to what I was saying earlier about Sundance and the multiculturalism. It's not just culture. It's not just nationality or ethnicity. It's disability. It is finding an audience and finding a voice for some of these underrepresented, marginalized classes. So I think that's amazing that's. Now, you said it starts with BTS and it's a lot of sign language interviews. Did they have subtitles saying what they're saying?
Yeah. So I think
it would have been cooler if they didn't, so that we can understand what it is to be on the outside.
There are times where, like, at one point, Marlee Matlin's hanging out with her family, and one of her brothers, she's got a few brothers, I think, and one of them signs, but not all of them do, like, they're not fluent. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of show it like what it's like from her perspective.
Yeah.
Room full of people talking, and she just kind of like looking and seeing what people are doing. And then finally her brother's saying, oh, he said, this kind of, and it really it's very isolating in a way. And that perspective was really interesting. And I'm just like, I wouldn't have done that. Another director would not have done that. It took somebody who was coming from her perspective to see that. And I really appreciate it. It was really good. It's got to get it. I don't know what the distribution plan is, but it'll be on HBO or something like that. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. No, I like the idea of leaving the hearing audience out.
Yeah.
And just giving them that that
just
experience.
For like a minute.
Exactly.
And you get
just
it,
And I will say, for everyone right now, thank you to Marlee Matlin for the closed captioning, because I don't know a single person who watches film or television without closed captioning now. Yeah. We all do it. And I don't know if it's attention deficit disorder. I don't know what it is, but we all do it.
Well,
so thank her so much.
I, for one, could never watch an episode of Peaky Blinders without closed captioning. There are times when you're like, what?
This is the BTRP Media Network.